I'm Anne from Game Like a Mother. Today I'm going to share an overview and review of Draftosaurus. It's ages 8 and up, 2 to 5 players, and it takes 15 minutes. Let me show you how to play.
The goal of the game is to get the most points. You get points by strategically placing dinosaurs over the course of the game in different pens, meeting different qualifications, so you score points, and you have to take into account a die that is rolled each turn that may impact where you are allowed to place your dinosaur. We have a 3-player game, and so for setup, there's a handy chart in the rules, and we have removed 4 of each dinosaurs of each species. We've removed them, and then you take the rest, put them in this bag, and each player is going to randomly select 6 dinosaurs from this bag and put them in front of them, but they hold them in their hands so no one can see them. This is their secret draft of dinosaurs to select from for their turn. Each person is going to have 6 dinosaurs. There's enough dinosaurs that you can have 2 rounds of gameplay with 6 dinosaurs per person, and the entire game is over once 12 dinosaurs have been placed. Then you score it up and tally your points. The youngest player goes first. We'll go ahead and say it's this person. And again, no one can see these dinosaurs. They are a secret, and they will roll the placement die, and then whoever rolls the die, the rules don't apply to them, but they do everybody else. So this person can place a dinosaur wherever they want. They'll go ahead and place one right here, but the other ones have to obey the constraints of the die. There is a handy chart on page 6 of the rules that goes through. There are 6 different sides of the die. It can be woodlands, where you have to place your dinosaur in the woodlands section of your zoo, which is where it is wooded. There's the grasslands, it can be, which is a picture of a rock, and it is the brown section of the board. You would have to place it in the grasslands if you are not the person who rolled the die. It can be restrooms, where you have to put it on the side that has the picture of the restrooms, this side of the board, and then there's food court. It would be this side of the board. What we rolled was an empty pen, which is very nice to everybody at the beginning of the game because they're all empty pens, because that can be very tough at the end. They just have to place it in a pen that doesn't have any other dinosaurs with this die roll. And then the last one is watch out for T-Rex. If that comes up, you cannot place it in a dinosaur that already has a T-Rex. But you could place a T-Rex, and that's what this player's going to go ahead and do. Once everybody has placed a die, you then take them, or place a dinosaur, you take them and pass them clockwise to the left, and no one should get to see them. So you pass it into the hands of the next player, and then everybody has passed these along. The die gets passed to the left as well, and now it's this player's turn to roll the die. These 2 will have to obey the placement rules, and they continue until all 6 of these dinosaurs have been placed. Here's a quick rundown of all of the placement requirements of the different pens. For the summer zoo, that is located on page 4 of the rules. Many of them are pretty clear just by looking on the board. They have nice indicators of what you need to remember. For the Forest of Sameness, you need to place only the same dinosaur along there. So once you've picked a dinosaur to start, that's what it's got to be all along, and wherever it ends up. So if they ended up at the end of the game with just 3 in here, that would be worth 8 points for the end of the game. Wherever it ends up is how many points it is. In the Woody Trio, you just need to have 3 dinosaurs in there, exactly 3 at the end of the game in order to win the 7 points for that spot. It can be 2 of the same. It can be 3 of the same. It does not matter. It's just if there are 3 dinosaurs in there of any type, you score that 7 points. In the little pen that is the Prairie of Love, it has 2 little hearts down there. You just need to have pairs of the same kind of dinosaur. You can have as many pairs as you like. You score 5 points per complete pair in here. Down here with a little broken heart is Solitary Island. If at the end of a game you have a dinosaur in this pen that is nowhere else on your zoo, then you get 7 points for that dinosaur. This is the Meadow of differences, and you need to have no repeats. All different dinosaurs placed in that pen, and then you score wherever it gets to at the end of the game. So if they put 4 in here, it's worth 10 at the end of the game. And finally, there is King of the Jungle. If you are collecting, you have a bunch of Brachiosauruses on your board, and so you put a pink Brachiosaurus in this pen. If you have the same number or more of that type of dinosaur than anybody else you're playing has on their board, then you get 7 points for that. So they have 3 of the Brachiosauruses, and they also have 3 on their board at the end of the game, then you would score the 7 points. But if they end up with more, if they end up with 4 Brachiosauruses, then you would score no points. You also need to keep in mind the river. It does not, you can always, no matter what the die roll is, you can place a dinosaur in the river. It's generally not your preferred action, but sometimes you have to. You have no choice based on what was rolled and what dinosaurs are available to place. And you always get 1 point for any dinosaur placed in the river. And finally, the T-Rex is a special dinosaur, and any pen that contains a T-Rex in it at the end of the game is worth an additional point. This is not an additional point per T-Rex. If you have a bunch of T-Rexes up here at the end of the game, this pen would be worth 8 where they ended up, plus 1 because it's T-Rexes, for a total of 9 points. It's not 1 per T-Rex, so that is key. Also, there is a winter side of the board with its own requirements. All are pretty simple and are on page 6 of the rules. It's a slightly more technical side of the board, and it is a nice option if you played the summer side and want something a little different. So here's what the end of a game might look like. You stop once 12 dinosaurs have been placed. It is very quick, and then you just tally up your points, and whoever has the most points is the winner. And I do briefly want to show what a 2-player game looks like because it is a little unique and it's very fun. For this, you only take out 2 of each species of dinosaurs, and then you put the rest in the bag. And this seems like a lot of dinosaurs because it is. You are still only placing a total of 12 dinosaurs over the course of the game. But for this, you play 4 rounds. And again, each player starts with a secret hand of 6 dinosaurs. The younger player goes first. We'll say it's this player. They roll the die, and it only applies to the other player. It does not apply to them. And what you do on your turn is you select a dinosaur that you want to place, and then after that, you get to choose a dinosaur to discard and put back in the box. So this player is going to go ahead and choose this one to discard, and we'll say that this one goes ahead and discards this one. And at that point, you trade dinosaurs, pass the die along, and then this player rolls, and only this player has to apply that to their placement. And so here you have the opportunity to mess with the other player quite a bit more because this player might choose to discard something that this person would want or vice versa. And so you each place, and we'll have them each discard one. And then you are only placing 3 dinosaurs per round, but then you have 4 rounds, and so that still equals 12 dinosaurs at the end, and then you tally up your points, and whoever has the most is the winner.
So that's how to play Draftosaurus. The target demographic for this game is Everyone. It works well both as a family game and as a game for more strategic, hardcore gamers. Everyone seems to universally enjoy this game, which is very exciting and fun and uncommon. The rule complexity is generally pretty easy, although because each pen has its own unique rules, some of them can be a little tricky the first time or two through, so you might have to consult the rules a little bit, but especially if you have somebody who's played it before, they should be able to get you up and running pretty quickly. The general gameplay is very easy, so there's a few intricacies, but it is very easy to just grab, go, and get started, which I love. How competitive is this game? It is low to medium with 3 or more players. You're mostly competing against yourself and whatever the constraints of the die roll is, and trying to most strategically place your dinosaurs around your zoo. It is a different story in a 2-player game. In that case, you are placing a dinosaur and then discarding a dinosaur each turn that you think the other player is going to want. So in that case, it is much more in-your-face competitive, which can be very fun depending on the type of game you're going for. Replayability is medium to high. This is a game that you're going to be able to get out a lot because it has such a universal appeal and it's very easy to learn and play. But because it is so quick and the type of game it is, there are 2 sides to the board, but even so, you're probably going to play it 2 or 3 times and then move on to the next game. So this isn't the type of game that you're just going to play it over and over again and say another game, and end up, oh my goodness, 3 hours has passed by and we've been playing Draftosaurus this whole time. It's not that type of game, but it is the type of game that you are going to get to the table a fair amount just because it is so pleasant, easy to get going, and has a pretty universal appeal. And similar games, if you like this one, are Spirits of the Wild, which is out of print, but is very, very close, so it is worth mentioning. It's a fabulous game that has kind of a spirit animal theme, and there are constellations that are referenced, and there are stones that you are strategically placing instead of dinosaurs, and it has very much the same feel to this, except it is a little more strategic. And then I would also suggest Super Mega Lucky Box, which is a bingo style game. It's kind of like strategic bingo, but it feels a lot like this in that it is very easy to pick up and learn. A number is called off and you mark off a spot on one of your little bingo cards for when that number is called, and then you get bonuses as you fill a row or a column. And this is our other game that is just our go-to if we need one with a universal appeal for both people who play a lot of games and people who don't play as much. That is a very tricky category to find a game for, and Draftosaurus is one, and so is Super Mega Lucky Box. So we love this game, and I hope you check it out. Thanks, and see you next time from Game Like a Mother.